Watch the poison, guys. Yo, this is broken. Alright, fellas, you're about to see the highest poison damage you've ever seen in this game. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put Envenom into Blood Hunt, and that will give it a poison chance, poisoning chance. So when we consume the bleed, it should, the damage of Blood Hunt should go into our magnitude of poison because of our gloves. So we'll test this out. Test this out. We gotta make Zesh here bleed a little bit here. So hopefully we get a decent rotation here. Okay, okay. So he should be primed to be blood hunted. Look at that poison damage. Oh, that's crazy. That's a T4 Zesh. But yeah, so what's happening is because of our gloves, all damage from hits contributes to poison magnitude. So our blood hunt counts as a hit, even with that insane multiplicatory damage coming from rake or the blood loss. It's all that damage is going to poison. So it's 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 stacking. The damage from blood hunt is stacking into the magnitude of poison. That's why Zesh's health just went down. Mic test. Mic test. Yo, what's up, fellas? I am so excited to show you guys this build. I'm gonna try to talk as fast as possible. I'm gonna condense all these new tech material, these poison bleed that I've been testing out, and it's absolutely fantastic. And I get to show you guys the synergy between all my gears and the support gems. So, without further ado, I want to preface everything that I say with these gloves here. Plague Finger Gauze Wraps. This is the unique gloves that we're using to apply these incredible damage from our poison, and it's simply because of this one line. All damage from hits contributes to poison magnitude. All damage, not per hit. You're not hitting one, two, three, four, five. All damage from hits. The damage is contributing to poison magnitude. And that is so important. That's how our Blood Hunt is applying that millions of poison DPS that you saw at the beginning of this video. So let's talk about the support gems. I'm not gonna spend too much on the lightning spear because we're not a lightning spear build. I don't even have lightning damage on any of my gears, guys. Look at this. Physical cold, physical cold. My sea glass is a physical cold. I do have a lot of accuracy. So that and physical. But as you can see, there's no lightning. My gloves, no lightning. We're using lightning spear to simply spread poison and bleed. That's it. That's its main job. So yes, it is a lightning spear. Boohoo, but this is the most effective way to spread poison and bleeding right now. So, without further ado, Vault 4 Classic Peanut Butter and Jelly to Lightning Spear, and we're gonna put Bursting Plague. This will allow enemies to explode with Plague Burst when you poison them. And we're gonna pair that with Envenom. This gives Lightning Spear 50% chance to poison. And Lacerate. This gives Lightning Spear to cause bleeding. So now our Lightning Spear is causing two Heralds now. Herald of Plague and Herald of Blood. And that's how you saw those people, the enemies dying left and right all over. Beyond the what you can see in the map is because our lightning spear forking the projectiles and hitting enemies outside the screen, and it's causing Herald of Plague and Herald of Blood to activate. So with that being said, let's look at Herald of Blood. We have Reach for more area of effect, and we have Hemocrystal. So Herald of Blood and Hemocrystal cannot cause bleeding, but their hits contributes to the poison magnitude. That's how you're seeing them killing everything around you because the Herald of Blood, while Herald of Plague is spreading all this poison, Herald of Blood is contributing to the poison magnitude in the surrounding enemies because of hemocrystals and Herald of Blood. And we're gonna make it easier to make our Lightning Spear and our Herald of Thunder cause bleeding with incision. So now our Herald of Blood is causing a lot of area damage, right? And it's applying incision. Incision makes the targets easier to bleed, to apply bleed on them. And now, if our Herald of Blood cause poison, we have corrosion as well. That will break armor, and if you break armor, you're applying more bleed damage, you're applying more poison damage. So this is a perfect combination with Herald of Plague and Herald of Blood. Herald of Plague, we have Chaos Mastery and Deadly Herald. So when it's applying that most damaging poison, it's increasing it by 30% more damage. Amazing, amazing synergy. And I was saying Herald of Thunder can apply poison and bleed too. It's because we have poisoning chance. Even if you see, look over here, main hand estimated poison damage per second. Because Herald of Thunder, we have poisoning chance on all our skills because of our passive skill tree. So for our Herald of Thunder, this is our main way of creating frenzy charges. As you may know, we're gonna put Electrocute in here, Neural Overload, that will that will electrocute targets, which will give us Combat Frenzy, which will give us Lightning Infusion. And then we have comorbidity. This adds another poison. So if it actually, our Herald of Thunder applies poison, it will add an additional one, as well as increasing the magnitude of poison. It's insane, guys. Because of the gloves that we're using, everything that we do is increasing the poison damage. So Herald of Thunder it's not only applying another poison, it's also increasing the poison damage because of comorbidity in the gloves. We also have Long Shot for 30% more attack damage for the enemies you don't see off the screen. So now when we have combat frenzy, we're consuming frenzy, we have lightning infusion, and we're gonna put concentrated effect, primer armament for more lightning damage, and conduction so that it can shock easier. Because when we shock, we activate Herald of Thunder, we activate electrocution, therefore we get more frenzy charges, and we continue that cycle. We have Innervate for more lightning damage to make it easier for conduction or shocking to work, and then Magnified effect to counter the 50% loss of area effect here. So that's the synergy between bleed, poison, and lightning there. That's how it's working together. That's how you're seeing all these enemies just dying left and right without you doing anything. With you just activating one lightning spear. So for our other spirit skills, we have Wind Dancer for more evasion, and then for our bleeding, now let's move on to bleeding. Our bleeding is mainly focused on weapon set 2. I have a Tangle Tongue Fork Spear with 19%. You can buy a cheaper one for 18% crit chance, and you'll do just fine. You'll do perfectly fine. So what you're seeing, let's start with Rake, is we're applying bleeding using Rake. And our support gens, Deep Cuts for more bleeding magnitude, Overextend for more critical damage bonus, Inevitable Critical for more crit chance, and then Momentum for more damage, and Concoct for more bleeding magnitude based on your life flash charges. So why do we want crit chance and crit damage on Rake? If we're looking at Rake right now, we have 73% crit. It's gonna crit because of Tangle Tongue. So, and then we have 700% crit damage bonus. We want our Rake to crit because the bleeding magnitude is or the crit damage bonus will apply to our bleeding magnitude. That's how you're seeing millions and millions of damage of bleeding, and that's important because when we activate Blood Hunt, it consumes that millions of damage and it multiplies with its crit chance and crit damage as well. And because we have this new tech that we're playing around, we're gonna swap Envenom during pinnacle bosses, only pinnacle bosses, guys. You don't need this on map bosses. So now our Blood Hunt, when it consumes bleeding, we have, because of half, we have more physical hit damage, Heavy Swing, more melee damage, Bloodlust for more melee physical damage, as we consume bleeding, of course, and then Excise for more crit chance. Don't worry about the 8-second cooldown because we're not using this. We're not spamming Blood Hunt. We're only using this when there's a bleeding target. And then Venom. This is the new addition here. So now when we consume the bleed, you see that burst damage, right? You've seen this everywhere. You've seen that burst huge damage from Blood Hunt. Now, if that doesn't kill the enemy, we want our Blood Hunt to poison. Now, within Venom, we have 87% chance to poison. We also have poison magnitude added into this. That Blood Hunt bursts millions of damage. That goes into poison magnitude because of our Plague Finger, and that is the synergy between that. So yeah, Infernal Cry, the other skill is Infernal Cry. It's to just buff. We have Raging Cry here for more rage, for more attack damage, and then Premeditation for more 15% more damage on our Rake or Blood Hunt, whichever you wanna buff. Okay, for our gears. So weapon set 1, we have Sea Glass, and we are using Crown of Ice and Threaded Light. This is a great combo because Threaded Light makes spell damage increases and reduction in spell damage also apply to attacks. Threaded Light gives me 12% increased spell damage per 10 spirit, and I have 209 spirit. Let's say 200. So that's about 20 times 12, guys. 20 times 12 is like 250% spell damage. Now, because of Crown of Ice, that also applies to our attacks, which applies to our Lightning Spear, Blood Hunt, Rake, Herald of Blood, everything. Herald of Thunder, it applies. Our spell damage applies to everything that we do. So it's a wonderful, wonderful combination. We're also using Threaded Light and Tangled Tongue for our weapon set too. For our amulet, we want to focus on spell damage, spirit, and melee skills. And then we want as much spirit on our chest piece as much as evasion. Look at my rings. I have physical and cold. Physical and cold. If you are already, like I said, if you're already running a lightning spear build, you'll have a better gear than I do. Because right now I'm using my glacial lance build gear. So and then the other unique is our boots. This aggravates bleeding on enemies when they enter your presence. So everything that we do, everything that our rake does, all that bleeding, the target is always entering our presence. So every bleed that we do with our rake will always be aggravated because of the boost. Very important during boss fight, as well as during mapping. You see me closing the distance on targets I cause bleeding to, is because I'm aggravating the bleed. I'm getting closer to them, so they're entering my presence. So that bleed and all that poison magnitude, they're just stacking, dude. Oh my god, it's beautiful. So that's gear. Let's look at the passive. Our ascendancy points, we have elemental infusion, predator instinct, and then we went all the way to penetrate. Very typical. The three things I want to point out here. One is we separated weapon set one to poison skill points here to increase our poison magnitude. Low tolerance gives 60% increased effect of poison you inflict on targets that are not poison. So very important during mapping because even a tiny fork from your projectile can cause an enormous amount of poison, which will then spread because of Herald of Plague. And then if there's bleeding that occurred there as well, you have your Herald of Blood, Hemocrystals. Oh, it's beautiful. So that's how people are dying so much. Uh, Outside your screen. And then for our weapon set too, it's mainly focused on bleeding, guys. Mainly focused on bleeding. You have wasting here for 30% increased damage against hits that are affected by ailments. You have faster damaging ailments. You have perfectly placed knife for more crit chance because we want Blood Hunt to crit. We don't really care about the aggravation here. We have 15% magnitude of bleeding here. We also have this from Nothing Diamond, Necromantic Talisman, which allows us to move all the way over here to get these for our weapon set too, mind you. This is very focused on bleeding. So we have 50% magnitude of bleeding, 15% magnitude of damaging ailments, and 15% increased magnitude of damaging ailments you inflict with critical hits. That's why we want to crit hit or hit critical. And that's why we're using Tangled Up so that we're critting all the time every time we use Rake and Blood Hunt. So we're increasing that bleeding magnitude as often as possible. And our basic points are allocated towards deterioration for more magnitude of damaging ailments that we inflict. And all the spear nodes here, accuracy and attack speed. We have attack damage. We have our crit damage bonus here, some evasion, we have all the crit nodes here, crit nodes there, crit nodes here. So our basic points are focused on crit nodes. And we have some spell damage here as well for more attack damage. Because of our gear, spell damage turns into attack damage. Our jewels are focused on magnitude of ailments and crit damage bonus. Here's my other jewel here. Cold damage, critical damage, magnitude of ailments. We also have a against the darkness time loss, but this is 4% of damage as extra cold. Like I said, I am not optimized for lightning damage because I don't care. I don't care about lightning damage because in reality, everything, even cold, lightning, physical that you see here, everything contributes to poison magnitude. All damage. Doesn't matter if you want to focus on lightning spear or all lightning. It really doesn't matter. You just want all damage contributes to poison magnitude. That is it. If you have any questions, I think I hit all the major spots. I just wanted to keep this as short as possible while we talk about the main the main subject of why this build works. So if you have any questions, spread the word, people. Let's make this the meta, the poison bleed meta. Let's make this better than fucking Ranger Serpent. So annoying. I'm kidding. No hate, no hate. Actually, full hate. Full hate. I'm making this the best build for Huntress. So spread the word. Leave a comment if you have any questions. Leave a like or leave a comment so this video can spread so everyone starts using poison and bleed. Let's make this the meta! Alright, peace.